Youth ministry is very important. It's something that is always talked about and always seemingly invested in, but also oftentimes gets cast by the wayside because it's something that we tend to write off. Because if kids are forced to come to Mass, we think that that does it, and we think that if their parents bring them to church, then that'll be it. But the problem is they end up falling by the wayside all the time. They don't want to come because they're not given anything. They're not treated like adults. They're not treated like people that can really understand their faith, and we sort of tend to water things down for them. And Camp Savio is something that I was expecting to do the same thing, and it didn't. It was very intense, it was very deep, it was very rich, and that is something that needs to be treasured. That's something that needs to be kept alive, especially in our diocese. In these youth camps, they seem short, but the effects really do last a lifetime. I honestly couldn't. If you had told me when they asked me to do Camp Savio that 2-3 months later that I'd still be thinking back on it with fondness and crossing my fingers that I can do it again next year, I would have thought you were a liar. I still cannot believe the impact that it had.
Our children are our most important investment in this world and in the next world. These are the future priests. These are the future religious sisters, lay people living their faith in the world that is increasingly more hostile to the faith. So anything that we can do to reinforce these kids in their faith is going to be worth it in this life and in the next.
I think one of the beauties of Camp Savio is the multiple tiers of people that are there. So you have the high school servants, you have the college shepherds, you have the directors. I myself, as the chaplain full-time, it was all of these different tiers of people that were able to bring a very rounded approach to the faith, and I think the kids were able to get little bits and pieces from each one of us and the different aspects that we brought to it, and I think that the message overall was one that was very easy for them to grasp.
Ultimately, if there's any group that we need to sacrifice for, especially me being a priest, it put flesh on what I've been studying for the last 6 years. Just seeing that these kids need examples and they need people to sacrifice their lives for the welfare, temporal and spiritual of all these children.
When I got back from hearing confessions in the chapel, I actually was looking where I had stepped because they had all come into the aisle and up towards the monstrance, and I had to sort of wade through this sea of children, which at first I thought was going to be annoying, but it was really inspirational just to see how close they wanted to get and how much they were investing themselves in it. And when I saw the path blocked, I almost said to the servers, the seminarians, let's just turn around, because these kids have no concept of time right now. They were lost in the eternal.
They need living models, and just to be with the kids and kind of just help them and be present was huge.
I was informed, told that I would be helping out with Camp Savio for a week. The question was rather, did I have anything that conflicted, not did I want to do it? And so I was a little apprehensive going in. After that first week, all I remember the second week as I was settling into my parish assignment was kind of hoping. I was looking at my phone, hoping that I'd get a phone call from somebody or a text message saying, please come back and help with confessions, or come say Mass one day, or come play bubble soccer again, or something like that. And
this is what I studied for. This is why I became a priest, to let Jesus use me to impact these kids' lives. So yeah, I'd love to come back next year.